Tonight we shift back to Hank and Dawn. Rachel needs help, and Hawk and Dove in their birthday suits. All that and more. DC Titans episode 9, Hawk and Dove, starts right now.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Chauncey queued it up.
Everybody heard. This song pretty much embodies this episode. Everybody hurts, guys.
It was a sad episode. So sad. I can't speak English, Chauncey.
It's okay. It was a tongue twister. It twisted your tongue like this episode twisted our hearts.
Oh my gosh! Listen, welcome everybody in the chat, everybody watching to the DC Titans After Show. I'm your host Evan T. Mack, but I'm not alone. She's back. She's returned from the East Coast, DC, Chocolate City,
all types of cities.
Chauncey,
I'm so cold.
What's up, girl?
Hey y'all, it's Chauncey K. Robinson.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's get down to brass tacks. Episode 9, Hank and Dawn. First let's get this out of the way. What is your overall thoughts of the episode? Then we'll talk about other things.
Yeah, I mean, for this episode, I definitely put down dealing with trauma. That was very much what I felt from this episode. Dealing with trauma, it was a lot of emotions. I enjoyed it. I just thought it could have been earlier in the season. Right. I was just like, where was this when I first met? Because I didn't care for the episode where they were introduced last time.
So that leads me to the question I wanted to ask you. I go, okay, so would you have liked this episode to be 2, and let's say 2 never existed? So this episode 9 and the place where episode 2's at, and then episode 2 never existed.
Well, the thing is with the space, with the pacing of it, it wouldn't have made sense. She had to end up in a coma.
Right.
So it's like we couldn't just why is she in a coma? Flashback. So we had to have them introduced to Titans for it to make sense. Right. But I don't know how else they could have done it. It's just kind of weird because that other episode, maybe it could have been cut in half or something, or maybe something else could have been intertwined and got to that point. But it was just like, this was a good episode terms of just the characters and knowing. I mean, I was really enthralled with. At first when I saw that this was going to be the episode after was that great cliffhanger,
the choke.
I was like, I saw the preview. I was like, wait a minute, what? No, you can't do that. You can't do a cliffhanger. And now we're gonna go back to origin story to 2 characters they haven't even mentioned.
They're killing it right now. They are,
since Dick left them.
Oh,
so
man.
I had low expectations, right. But I mean, just all the emotional. It was a great episode of a show.
Yeah.
I don't know necessarily. I mean, maybe it makes sense if they're going to join Titans eventually, if they're going to join that core team. It was a great episode of a show. I did kind of wonder why now for their origin story.
Yeah, and I agree with you. It's one of those things where they're doing a hell of a job. I think what they are really slow playing the character development. To me, the make of a good story is making you care about the characters, making you care if they live or die. And the way to do that is to literally build them a certain way, explain them a certain way, give them a certain obstacle, or show you their past and how and their trials and tribulations and whatnot. They're just really, really, really slow playing it. And I'm just one of those things that I guess I'm just not used to that. You know what I mean? I guess I need to be, as far as this kind of show goes, superhero type show, slowly building characters and showing a lot of hardships in the show to make you care, and then coming back, revisiting.
Yeah.
In episode 9 with 2 episodes remaining I just think a very interesting touch.
It's bold because you only got so many episodes. So to spend this time the whole time on they weren't even a B plot. It was or even the A plot while we were going back to the Titans. It was more so all of this was on them. And so I think that's bold. It paid off in a way in terms of really getting you to care. It was a great focused episode. If this was some type of backdoor pilot even, it'd be okay, these 2 are kind of worth paying attention to on their own. Maybe way better than the Doom Patrol episode was. Right. So in that sense, it was great. The pacing, considering that they don't have many episodes, that this whole thing was on them. It was great, but it was
yeah. And so tonight we're gonna discuss the past of Hank, Dawn's past, and and definitely just that whole episode and what it encompasses. But before I do, Miss Chauncey, can you tell the lovely people at home how they can find us?
Well, hey AfterBuzzers, our network produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows. From dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more, there is no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did so in the comments, and we'll thank you on air. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk.
With that being said, I would be remiss if I didn't shout out my man, Red Eyes Black Fire. Man, I told you I represent you, man. I told you I'll hold you down. I see you in the chat saying you ain't even like Dawn till she got butt naked. I don't even know why you just said that. But I get why you said it, you know, but I understand. But she was dope before that. Shout out to Minka.
She was.
Yeah. but okay, so anyway, let's move on.
Let's move on.
Shout out to Red Eyes Black Fire. But
and all of y'all in chat, Makita,
oh my gosh,
Matt, Nas,
Ivan Soto,
Ivan, all of you for joining us
what up?
today.
I appreciate
Thanks so
y'all.
much.
So okay, all right, here we go. So now we get to Hank's past. Now there's a whole lot of things they hit me with, like the Jerry saying Dusky thing out of nowhere, man, and I didn't expect it. So give me your first thoughts on the choice of the brother, who I love, by the way, gone too soon.
Yes.
and literally just how they went back in the past and stuff like that.
I really enjoyed Hank's backstory, origin story. I liked. Funny enough, I know some people, when we first got introduced to Hank, maybe didn't care for him, thought he was like, but I kind of saw, considering what happened, and we got to talk about that timeline in terms of Dick and Dove and whatnot. But I liked him enough, and I liked that they gave some heart to why he is the way he is, being the tougher one. That situation with the football coach. Wow. There were so many real world issues going on there. The thing with children being groomed by these predators, why him and his brother got into things, the whole thing about concussions with athletes, which is a very serious thing that doesn't get enough attention.
It sure doesn't.
And I just love that they don't. That's one thing about the show. They don't back down from uncomfortable topics.
Absolutely not.
And intertwining it in this comic universe, right? It's real stuff.
Yes.
And I really appreciate it. I really love the brothers and their dynamic. I know. It was one of those things where I was like, man, I really like Donnie. But as you're watching it, Donnie's not in the future.
He's not in the future.
So, and yay for diversity. I loved the fact that he was brown. Shout out to people of color.
Shout out to brown skin people.
But then once again, it was that double-edged sword of, yay, he's going to die.
Yeah.
So, there was a little bit of back and forth for that, but I really enjoyed it. I just thought, man, this is such a way of grounding why he would become a vigilante.
Yes.
I love the whole thing, Batman and Robin, you're gonna have some
you got a little competition.
Company. And I was just like, this is such a great way of really intertwining them into the real world, but still keeping, because he doesn't have powers, right?
Exactly.
In fact, he doesn't have powers, and on top of that, he's actually going through medical issues.
Yes.
Yeah, he takes up this mantle, him and his brother, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and I like how they went back from when they were really young also to when they started the show with, them doing like their first mission, their first stakeout, recording it, you know what I mean, getting all like the intel and the footage on what they were doing, and they showed how much they ride for each other. When you get to that point where the brother is trying to talk him off the ledge, man, stop doing this kind of thing. He rolls up on him in the library. They get this mass fight, and the brother literally basically tells him to expel him. What did you think about that when you really kind of thought he was that kind of that even kill, like good kid, and then he was like, you know what, just kick us out of school then?
I enjoyed that, because if anything, I felt like it came full circle from that earlier moment in the episode where he was dealing with the whole thing with his brother needing to leave, and him telling his brother, I don't want to get expelled, so kind of like being willing to kind of follow the rules for this thing. And then you have fast forward to them being, more grown up, and him being like, you know what, it's not worth it. I'm going to have my brother's back.
Absolutely.
And it was such a short, full circle, but it really worked in terms of just landing. And once again, I was endeared to the brother. I was like oh my gosh, he's going to die.
And they did such a good job, because I was sitting there watching, and I was like, oh my, and it hit me. I was like, oh my God, he's not going to be around.
Right?
I don't know why I was thinking this dude was going to live.
I'm hoping there's some way he's cloned or something. If there is some type of spinoff or something, because they really, that just showed the really great writing that this show can have at times, where you can be endeared to something where you're not sitting there like, oh my gosh, this origin story, when are we going to get back to the main people?
Right.
I came to care. So it landed. And like I said, I love Donnie. I thought, and it was a nice throwback to the comic book, right?
Exactly.
Because this started off where they were brothers.
So true.
And, they went in this route of this, incarnation of Titans. They did it so that it was the couple dynamic first.
But they also paid tribute to the original.
Exactly.
And they found a way to do that. Like I said, it's a very interesting episode. They do go off kilter. It ties up at the end. But I think you're right, though, about it being just a great episode. It does go off from what happened with Corey and Rachel. We leave off with Corey and Rachel, then boom, we're in Hanging On. And then you're like, but they did a good way. They did a lot of things in showing why they weaved in Rachel, too. Rachel, talk to me about your thoughts of Rachel communicating through them, like kind of like through their past memories.
Yeah, that threw me off.
It took me a minute to realize what she was doing.
I was like, is this some sort of people don't know horror fans. It's just like, there's some things where another show, it's like, oh, so-and-so was always there all this time, her ghost or something. I was like, how is this? But then, I had to do some reading, because I was just like, and that's the thing. That was the one drawback to me a little bit, because I had to read up on the fact that in the comics, I guess.
Yes.
Raven would do this,
yes.
And that's how she brought together the original Titans.
Good stuff, Chauncey.
Through doing that.
That's the original.
But this is my thing. Once again, you can't make the assumption that fans understand that, or that all fans even know anything about these
Especially
comics.
The casual viewer, though.
Yeah. So, as a casual viewer, for a second there, I was like, I know stuff with comics, but also just kind of taking it like this is new to me. I was like, what? Just what?
Yeah, they were paying homage to the original way she did it. She would drop it. She forged them together by showing them their deepest, darkest memories and giving them illusions of like doing some real Raven stuff. But in this time, she was like calling for help. But it was making them relive some bad. It was very interesting though. Because do you think that was her conjuring up that stuff based on the original comic, or you think that was just she's piggybacking off their bad
I had
memories?
no idea.
I don't know.
I also didn't get it because in the last episode, when did this happen? When does she get to this point where she's calling for him? Because the last time we saw Raven, she was getting choked out.
You think she's doing that right there? Like she might do it in real time?
But what? No offense, but what are Hank and Dove gonna do against Starfire? So I feel like that'd be watch.
Spectate.
Exactly. So it's like, why call them? So that was throwing me. I'm like, that's why I'm a little confused. The timeline of this episode in a way too. Right.
Are you thinking that like it might have been a little bit before that happened?
Yeah, maybe. But why was she feeling like she needed to call them? Maybe it was when she was in that time. I don't know. It just seemed it was a little bit out of nowhere.
Yeah. So now we're gonna move on to Dawn's past. I thought it was interesting the way they did that, the way they coincided, and before they have them meet up, you got a little bit of taste of another real issue, domestic violence and things like that. Oh, but first, shout out to Marina Sirtis, man. That was Deanna Troi from Star Trek Next Generation up in there. Holla at your girl.
As the mom,
I was tripping. Shout out to Deanna Troi. But
his geek is showing.
Oh, girl, I was like, that's Deanna Troi, fine as hell back in the day. She's still fine. But so give me your thoughts based on how they kind of presented her and how she was, and you kind of get the sense of her mentality during that scene when they're having afternoon tea.
I really enjoyed that. I thought, this I guess this kind of goes to the a little bit of the fake out we got with this, with the fact of the mother. Because the thing with the mother was this idea of, you think she's going to go back to either, I don't know if it's the father or the stepfather.
Right.
But and maybe, he kills her or something like that. But it was this idea. It was a very honest talk.
Absolutely.
It was kind of like she loves her mother. Her mother's in an abusive relationship. Her mother's like, you must think I'm weak. And sometimes it can be black and white in that sense. It's like, oh, you're so, weak to go back. But she even had this caringness, yes. Like, no, you're stronger than you think. Yes. And I really appreciated it. I appreciated that they didn't go the route of vilifying the mother. Absolutely. Or even Hank and Donnie's mom, even though she was off screen and she died. Mm-hmm. It wasn't some idea of like the mom is bad. The mom works for a living, yes. And she's trying to support her children. Yes. Hank and Dove end up being kind of broken individuals, but it's not necessarily because of they have bad parents or something like that. It was more like life.
Yeah, despite the hardships in their life, the mother still was doing the best she can. It's just a moment where the daughter was frustrated because, we left, like he abused us, he abused you. Like I said, it's a real issue. It's a real issue that's happening on and on in society, and they weren't afraid to tackle that. They weren't afraid to tackle a few hot button issues inside one episode.
I think that's why this episode was so intense. I mean, you had domestic violence going on. You had, child pedophilia going on.
Girl.
It was just like, whoa. Like, these are things you don't normally get. You get maybe allusions to that in certain degrees. And here it was. They were head on with this couple. Showing how maybe intense or how broken, the world had left them, but yet they still continue to fight in some way. It was intense.
Yeah, it was. It was one of those things where I was, like I said, I like the way they develop it. They also spoke on why she is skilled at what she does without having to figure out how does everyone get good at fighting. It's that little thing that everyone must end up like, how you so good at fighting? You know what I mean? And you throw those little nuggets in, little jujitsu, ballet, gymnastics, stuff like that. So I like when they showed the past, and then all of a sudden, they meet. And it's like a kind of like a sweet moment, a flirtatious moment, and nice when this might be love at first sight, and all of a sudden people die.
Yeah,
it's death.
That was a fake out. I think honestly that was such a fake, because I thought Donnie was gonna die when they was fighting somebody, and I thought the mother was gonna hear that her mom died when she went back to the dad or something, or the stepfather, and. No, it was just like, nope, they're both gonna die right now, next to each other. Man. Because I guess they had to figure out how would they die that they would connect the two of them somehow, I guess. I mean, it was just like, that threw me off too. I was like, okay, that was one way to do it.
And one thing I noticed is like a lot of the episodes been like 40 minutes long. This one was like 47 minutes long.
Yeah, it was a little bit longer.
They had a little more time to tell. They knew what they were trying to do with this episode. Like I said, a little more intense things going on, a little more character development, so they had a little bit more time. You see them, they meet at the grief counseling thing. They're both dealing with different types of grief, even though it's kind of the same thing happened. And they like I said, they kind of find this camaraderie and this love and this connection through a hardship. What was your thought process on how they brought them together and how they decided to bring them together?
These actors, they have such great chemistry.
They're good.
They really do. It really works. It's natural. And I think even in her going up to him at the bar, they felt drawn to each other and it didn't feel contrived. He didn't come back to, the group circle the next day, but he was waiting for her, wanted to buy her a drink. That worked very well.
It did though.
And I thought, and it made sense that she would seek him out. Why not seek him out? Because, I mean, he was right there when it happened. They lost both of these people that they love so dearly right next to each other, which kind of brings into question their bond, like, it's not like Misery Loves Company kind of a deal, because they did bond, but they also came out of trauma. So it's like, you can love someone and it's like, but loving them also reminds you of like some of the worst times in your life. So how does a relationship like that continue to function? Which maybe it didn't continue to function, which is why Dick was able to get it in.
Slide up in there. You know what I mean? Shout out to Dick Grayson.
Which, we got to figure out that time.
Yo, chat roll, man. Let me know what y'all think, because me and Chauncey were talking about this off air. Like, listen, since they showed the past episode tonight, you know what I mean? Like, apparently they've been getting it in for a while. So like, can y'all let me know when did Dick Grayson swoop in like the boy wonder? Did they have a break, or was it like a little bit of cheating going on? Chat roll, what y'all think, man? Let me know. Oh goodness, because we were like, hold on now, when
right? Where's the time? Maybe they were on a break, a Ross and Rachel break, and something happened with Dick for a little bit. I don't know.
Ivan Soto said, I do wonder when Hank and Dawn met Grayson. Yeah, me too.
Exactly.
Me too, Ivan Soto.
Clearly they had started something.
I don't know what's going on there. So okay.
Yeah.
All right, so
although Dick was not making any calls throughout this whole
Yo,
time.
I'm still listen. I hate to go back on another episode, but I love how Dick Grayson is not scared of like Hank though, man. That's my favorite thing about my man. Dick was like, yo, what's up, man? Okay, what's up? Yeah. He rolling up on me like that. What's going on? Yeah, I hit it. What's up? But anyways, like,
oh my gosh.
All right, okay, so
Nas was saying, I feel like they were on break and Dick swooped in. Maybe it seemed like maybe
that's all. We're thinking very Disney right now. We're very excited. We're thinking
no one was breaking.
Nobody want anybody home wrecking, man. That's what we're gonna go with that. Nas, we're going with your theory.
Yes,
it was a solid break for a few years. And then Robin came in. Okay, so we get to the part where, Hank's having a hard time opening up about what happened. He wouldn't even talk to his own brother about what happened to him when he was younger, because his brother. I think they did a good job of not explaining why the brother. How did the brother know? I think it hit him as he got older.
Yeah,
that whole moment probably unfolded as he was getting older. Guys, you got to feel in the spaces sometimes. And he was like, oh man, my brother took that L for me. You know what I mean? And it gets to that point where he opens up and kind of confides in her about it.
Yeah.
Did you see her taking it upon herself? Did you see that coming at all?
No, I think, it was kind of the same way she treated her. She seems somewhat like the person who listens, and that's kind of that yin and kind of like what Donnie was to Hank to a way too, of this idea of kind of balancing out his brute force kind of way of being. And she kind of does that as well. And of course there's the romantic element with that. That's a little different from, what Donnie gave with the brotherly love. And I think she saw his trauma and she wanted to help. It was unexpected that as soon as he tells her, she shows up at this dude's house ready to basically have him confess. But it seems like the type of the person that she is, though. Yes. She is someone who wants to help, who wants to listen. And we saw that in the first episode she appeared in.
Did you see, because I might be reaching a little bit, but did you see that her abuse, you think that affected her more? And that's why she's so gung-ho to fight somebody like that, even though it's a different type of trauma, like domestic abuse? Do you feel like that compelled her to do something about that because she's dealt with that when she was younger?
Yeah, I mean, it goes kind of back to what she said in the group circle on trauma. She was like, the world's unfair. Why can't we make it fair? And it seems like she got to the point where she got tired of things not being fair, of saying, I want to make it right. And I think the whole thing with Hank of her going after his predator was her saying, you know what, that's not fair. I want to feel empowered to do something about that. So I think that's what did. And that was such a poignant moment she had in group, because she was like, that group chat therapy person was kind of like, life's not fair. I'm like, whoa, that's a way to respond. But she, she said, she was like, well, why not? Why isn't it fair? And why can't we make it fair? And I thought that kind of showed her character drive in going to Hank's predator. And
it rung true to you when she wasn't even fazed about him being like a vigilante?
No, it was clear she had gotten to the point where she was like, she wanted to do something right. If anything, they needed each other to finally, for her to have, like Donnie was trying to tell Hank, he's like, you need a release with your anger. That's how they became the vigilantes. True. And I think she ended up needing a release. It was like, you can't go back to doing ballet, having all that. I mean, you can, but maybe at night you also fight bad guys. Because it's like, you have this beautiful swan-like thing that she was doing, which was a very beautiful scene, by the way.
It was.
But then it was like, how do I go back to that? My mother was my biggest fan, and the world took her away from me. So what do I do?
Who said that? So Dick gets all the ladies? Who said that?
War Hero 99 said Dick gets all the ladies.
Listen, his name is very apropos, man. I'll tell you what.
Oh my God.
I swear, man, I can't stand this dude. But anyway, but I love him. But anyway, so okay, now I got a question to ask you. Do they kill that dude?
They totally killed him.
Right?
What are you going to do? Beat him up to a bowling pond and put him in front of the police station?
He's like dead, right?
Yeah, because Hank had said to, you weren't here.
So the door shut thing was the murder, right?
Yeah, it was
Chat
murder.
roll, we ran about
that guy.
Damn.
And then they had sex afterwards.
Yeah, that's a perfect segue. Listen, just beating a man to death turned women on. Chauncey. If Jason Todd did that in front of you.
Okay, yeah, Jason Todd, perhaps. I like I said, that scene where he did all that to the cops, that was awesome to me. And, I think it was an adrenaline rush. You see that in horror movies.
That's
they run away from the killer, or they beat the killer, and then suddenly, somehow, it's one of those things where somehow in the midst of this, you guys found the energy to have sex. But that is what happens in fiction land, I suppose,
true.
Where all that adrenaline happened. How else do you connect in the most intimate way people connect? And that's what they did, and they had nudity and all.
Butt naked, man. I don't know. They do
this could never happen on CW.
It sure could, man. They pushed the envelope is what I'm trying to say.
They really did. This is cable.
They're so good at camera work. I don't know who was a body double. I don't know if they did a body double. I think they was both butt nigga, but I don't know anything nowadays, man. They do a lot of things with editing and lights and shadowing and stuff like that. that. But okay, so tell me your thoughts about that. Was that necessary? Was it good? Was it good eye candy? Do you give a damn? What was your thoughts on the scene?
I think it was done in a very artful way. You know, they were in half darkness, the light. It was more symbolic than. It would have been, I think, a little bit more exploitative if, like, right after they have something where they're crashing through the door, ripping each other's,
That's so true.
you know, things off. It's like, okay, that's such a trope, you know? But in this moment, it was like he was sitting there and they made this decision after such a brutal, violent moment to come together in a very beautiful, natural way. And I thought it was kind of like a balance of that. And I think it made sense for that scene. I know online some people were like, well, Hank and Dove, you know, they got that. Why can't, you know... why didn't Dick and Corey get that when they? And I was like, I'm fine with the illusion of that for them. This made more sense in this sense. It was okay. We don't need Dick butt naked.
Yo, you never know. Might get a little bit of thwaites. You know, hold on. Oh yeah, ectoplasmic. Shout out to his wife Julie. She loves Titans and AfterBuzz.
Oh,
Chauncey.
that's what's up.
So shout
Thank
out
you,
to Julie.
Julie.
What up, girl?
Thanks for watching.
But you're just getting back to your point. You're very right. It is artistic. Like there's those subtle things about the way they shoot things. It was cloaked in darkness. It was like traumatic experiences. It actually was beautifully done. If you were like, if I get just strip away all the nonsense.
Serenity Q26, what's up, girl? She said, "Thank God for the pause button with having stream. You guys really enjoyed it.
Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to quit.
All right,
I can't stand y'all.
Nah, we love y'all.
I love y'all to death. But yeah, it was actually really beautifully done in the grand scheme of things.
It made sense.
Tastefully done as well.
Because, you know, there is this question that people have with Titans, like it's trying too hard to be edgy. But this episode showed how you can have that balance of edge with the topics they covered, and it can still not feel contrived, where it can feel so... Because, you know, sometimes origin stories like, so-and-so killed my father, and now that's... And I like that this origin story, it goes back to what Dawn was saying, where she said... it was nobody's fault. I'm so angry that there's no one in particular to blame because this was an accident. And sometimes in origin stories, or most of the time in origin story and hero things, it's always a specific person who targeted someone's dad. It's always the dad or the mom in the sense of Superman and Batman. Where it's
shout out to Justice League.
Where it's, you know, something like that going on. It was nice that this is an accident, and it's like, how do we make sense of our lives in this world?
It's true. It's like I said. They make a lot of bold choices. They know they have autonomy from the platform, but it doesn't mean you can still mess the show up. You know, you can still mess the show
up. Narrative is still going well, and I think this episode showed that.
That's really so. Okay, so put it before I move on. Put this on your list of your where's this on the list of your favorite episodes? If you had to do like a top 5, does this make your top 5 at all?
I think it did.
Yeah.
I think it honestly did. I made my top 5 for the fact that it convinced me. I mean, I love the actors, but I was not convinced of their importance in this universe just yet, and why we took that time in, like, what was the second or third episode, where it was just like we really had to play up that. So it was nice. This was like, oh, now I get it. You know, now I get it.
I agree, 100%. So now we get to the point where Rachel, she's been doing a lot of stuff that I didn't understand. I was like, I know the origin story. I know what she was doing, but it came out of left field and right field. So this communication actually started working, and it works on Dawn, which I think was very apropos because she's the open-minded one. I like that the way I know that was very calculated, and she wakes up out of her coma. I mean, like she woke up, she rolled out of bed, and she wakes up. Hank, give me your thought process on how they finally kind of tie in a Titan to like make this like a Titans episode. You know what I mean?
I mean, honestly, it seemed like. At first, it seemed a little tacked on because I was like, well, they got to have some connection to this, and they've got to convince her to come out of her coma. But it made sense. I mean, I was like, why Jason Todd of all people? What?
Yeah, she called out your boy, though, too.
Yeah, I know.
She wants your boy's help.
Yeah, and I was like, why Jason Todd? Like, I was really confused. I mean, they definitely have a lot of things spinning in the air right now where you're just like, why is this? What Starfire's real thing? Why get Hank and, you know, why do that through them? Yeah. You know, like what exactly is happening right now? So that was cool, and it was cool that she's out of, because, you know, the question did come about in my head, and I saw some people say this as well, is that once Rachel realized that she could do healing powers. This once again goes to the fact of them not talking about Hank. And afterwards was like, why didn't she go back to the hospital to heal her? Did it not come like, oh, I have healing powers. Maybe I should go back. This chick's in a coma because of me. And that didn't happen. But somehow she has time to project herself in this girl's dream while she's in the coma. It was a little weird.
I understand. I know what you're saying.
It was a little, I don't know if that was a plot hole.
I think that's why they made the healing thing like way down the line, though, because because by that point they're like at the safe house, they kind of like separated.
Yeah, like we can't go back right now. Later.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. But I like this. I was just happy that she woke up. She took a nasty spell, so I was happy she woke up. Oh, sidebar. Do you think? I think it's subtle. Am I wrong? Does he have like kind of like an addiction to painkillers because of that moment where the doctor like prescribed it and he didn't want to take it, but he like kind of ends up taking it because of the migraines? Do you think that he becomes addicted to it based on that moment? Like, do you think kind of like doctor introduced him to his addiction?
Maybe. Right. I don't know. I mean, I know they're playing up this fact that he has a crutch, like he has this whole thing of being somewhat hurt constantly and somehow pushing through that pain with his rage and whatnot. So I think maybe the pills are kind of a manifestation of that, of him making a way that he keeps going.
Right.
So maybe in that sense.
Red Eyes Black Fire said they were on the run. They weren't thinking of Dawn.
I guess.
Chauncey.
I guess.
Ivan Soto, why Jason Todd? He's not any help. He's a monster in capital letters.
I don't know about that.
Oh yeah. Chauncey, like, yo, chill.
Let's not get started on that, because Jason Todd is awesome. And
yo, you should call for the wrong Robin, man. We know there's only one Robin up in here.
I guess.
Yeah. She called for my boy. You know what I mean? Brandon
brooding one.
Yeah, the brooding one. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So all in all, you dig the episode. I know you liked the episode. I thought it was good. Just for a side, do you think this is the best side episode they've had? They had like 3
This was the best side episode, because Jason Todd wasn't really a side episode. His episode was actually intertwined in the plot line, so that actually worked.
So Doom Patrol, Hawk and Dove, and then this one. And then there's other like side episodes they had.
I think that was it. So I would say this is probably the best one of a side one. Jason Todd was the best one of an episode to me that was outside of the core Titans, but this one was a very close second.
I agree.
Different tone. But this show is finding its tone. I think it's found its tone of this grittiness. But like I said, I still question a little bit the chronological order of why this now, but I guess they had to bring in the point of bringing the two of them and Jason Todd back in towards the season finale somehow.
And maybe they got 2 episodes to wrap things up in a nice little bow. Before I move on, do you have any moments or anything that sticks out in your mind that you want to talk about, discuss, anything that's running through your head right now?
I just love the group. I just love, that was raw. Reminded me a little bit. I'm gonna show my theater geek. It reminded me a little bit of Rent. The movie where everyone's talking about, their loved ones dying of AIDS and HIV and things of that nature. And once again, it was just like, it's kind of a reflection of art being used to kind of reflect real world stuff, which was really great about this episode. And I love the brotherly love between the two of Donnie and Hank, to the point where I hope maybe there's a way to bring him back.
Because y'all should have made him so dope, man. I like this kid, man.
They made us really like him, and now he's gone. That's unfortunate.
Ivan Soto, Chauncey, Jason Todd hurt innocent people. But he put it.
A lot of people hurt innocent people.
Yo, Ivan, she gonna keep apologizing for this man. Keep throwing stuff at her. Maybe you'll trip her up. But she's a Jason Todd apologist. He half murdered cops, so she does not care. Oh my goodness. Why Donna and not Cassie, and give us Superboy? Somebody is asking for.
I guess. I mean, I like the characters they brought. And they're creating a universe.
Loving it.
And that's fine. I'm a little, like I said, because of the fact that it's not like a 22 episode season or even a 15 episode season, there are times when you're kind of like wanting them to maybe, use their time a little bit more wisely in that sense. But I know but we also know they got a second season. So we know they're going to be back. There isn't going to be there's going to be a second season. So in that sense, maybe they just really felt like they had the time in the 11 episodes to really just lay groundwork more so.
And that's where we are nowadays, though. When you have enough coin to create your own content, your own network, you can dictate how many seasons you get, because it's about how much money you want to pour in.
Yeah.
You don't got to worry about sponsorships or networks pulling the plug on you.
Exactly.
That's what this was all about. This is why they started with this show. That's why they're all you dropped the season 2 news weeks ago.
Yeah, as soon as they premiered, it was season 2, and I was like, that's great. So now we know, and maybe that's why they did it, so people would know, don't worry, you're going to have.
Don't worry.
Because there's a lot of stuff we didn't get into, even with the core group. We're just now probably going to be getting Corey's thing.
10 and 11, yeah.
And it took a minute.
Yes.
And we hardly have anything backdrop with Gar, except, those little moments here and there.
We'll see what they do there. Yeah. But anyways, DJ, whenever you get a chance, can you cue up that news for Miss Chauncey K. Robinson?
AfterBuzz TV News.
Yes, so we got some gossip going on, and this might be something many may love and some many may hate, is that there may be a possible Titans and Arrowverse crossover.
Stop it.
Yes, man. This might be something. During a recent live stream, our Hank and Hawk and Dove basically teased that there might be a possible crossover with the CW Arrowverse. Alan Richson, who plays Hank, said that there's definitely a possibility, and it's very likely. I don't know how many people would like that. Also, in another interview with CBR.com, Richson spoke about the possibility of a Hawk and Dove spinoff.
Wow.
Seems like a lot of spinoffs are happening. That happened with the Doom Patrol. And he said the idea has definitely been discussed on numerous occasions, and Minka and I are huge fans of the idea because we want to get to know these characters even better and see more of their day-to-day life. So yeah, let us know if y'all are down with the Arrowverse crossover and the Hank and Dove spinoff.
Man, Seb Russ said that sounds like a terrible plan. Not if he's on the DC platform. If Arrow's over here just shooting people in the head and stuff, I don't know. Y'all might see a darker.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work. In other news, Titan star Ryan Potter shares a set photo with the Negative Man actor. Ryan Potter, our Beast Boy himself, shared on his Instagram from a set photo alongside actor Dwayne Murphy, who plays the physical embodiment of Negative Man. So that means we'll either be seeing Doom Patrol again very soon, or maybe Ryan is guest starring on the Doom Patrol series. So
Tehran's excited about that.
Yes.
But right now, the general consensus to your question earlier is no, and no. Do not cross this over. Damn, y'all.
I kind of figured people would feel. I don't know. I'd be willing to see
them
over on the DC. I'd be willing to see them over on the DC universe platform instead of Titans going over to CW, because. Yeah, there's just no way it would work in that sense. But they said it might be a thing.
Yeah, right.
And then, finally, Anna Diop, our Starfire herself, is set to star in Jordan Peele's upcoming movie.
Oh, she looks lovely
called
there.
Us. Yeah, it's a beautiful picture of her. Our Starfire, she's going to be in the upcoming movie called Us. The synopsis of Us is a mother and father take their kids to their beach house expecting to unplug and unwind with friends, but as the night descends, their serenity turns to tension and chaos when some shocking visitors arrive uninvited. So it seems like it might be a thriller.
Dang.
I mean, knowing Jordan Peele, it's probably going to be something great,
exciting.
Get Out or whatnot. And there's others, stars such as Winston Duke from Black Panther. Will also be in the upcoming movie as well, along with other stars. So.
Man, that's some good stuff, Chauncey.
So congratulations, Anna. You're awesome.
She's on her way.
We love you.
Serenity says, I love all my DC shows, so sure, why not? They cross over to different universe all the time in DC Comics and CW shows, so it's not that difficult.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a different tone. Different things are allowed on DC Universe. Yeah. So, I mean, they had CWC. They had Flash and Arrow go over to Vixen's animated show. So I mean, they can do it.
Yeah, if it's on the DC platform, I just think it would be good if they're allowed to make Arrow the way, literally, if it's DC the way it is on this show, a lot could happen if they let them get all rated R and whatnot.
Yeah,
and Red Eyes Blackfire's calling for Iris to get butt naked on the channel, man. He's already predicted that. He already won Iris West and just get naked. Shout out to Red Eyes Blackfire, man.
I don't know.
Oh my God, out of his mind. mind. But before we kick into the predictions, I want everybody in the chat, man. One of the questions is a crazy question, out of the blue question, but I've been seeing all kinds of press and news, and I'm getting all kinds of crazies. I think it's gonna look good. Chat roll, please let me know if y'all interested in seeing Aquaman. I just want to know, just want a simple yes or no in the chat so I can get y'all general
Another
thoughts.
DC.
Yeah, a little DC movie. I don't know about you, Chauncey. It's looking kind of good.
Maybe
right?
we'll have a Titans crossover with that.
They're like, no!
Since we're never going to get Justice League again, probably.
Oh, DJ, can I hit that predictions, please, man?
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So, Miss Chauncey K. Robinson, pretending like you didn't see the trailer, what are your predictions for next
I
episode?
am so excited to get into Corey's backstory. Finally. Oh my gosh. This is what I've been waiting for. And I think we're going to get into that. And I think it'll be revealed, like, whether or not she's someone's puppet in terms of, you know, going after Rachel.
Right.
And I think we'll probably see a little bit more of the dynamic between her and Dick, and maybe a little bit more of his feelings of vulnerability for her and why he, you know, they have something.
Yeah.
You know, and we'll see how Donna reacts to that as the older sister.
That's
like,
gonna be-
remember when Connor, who was such a great interview,
I love her.
and she was talking about how, you know, Donna's going to be looking at Starfire like, you going to hurt my brother?
That's my baby
So
brother.
I want to see if that's going to be happening.
Yeah, and I'm hoping for some more Gar. I've seen a couple clips of him, but I hope it's actually the moment where he's starting to figure things out. Maybe I know it might be like a rough patch, but I hope he starts to figure things out. I just want him to turn into something. I don't care if it's like a cockroach. Just turn into something else besides the tiger.
Yeah, everyone wants something other than that tiger.
Just give me anything. I don't care. Listen, girl, I don't care what it is.
I mean, with a bird.
Yeah, give me
Like,
something.
owl.
Yeah, a little owl or something, man. A little, you know what I mean? Like a raven, just to make it really clever and ironic and funny. But that's it for me. Shout out to everybody in the chat once again.
Yeah, thanks for
Serenity,
joining us.
Paris, what's going on? Miss Chauncey, before we roll, tell the people where they can find you and what you do and how you do it and what's going on.
You can find me on Twitter at Miss Chauncey KR. You can also find me on Rotten Tomatoes, as I am an official film and TV critic. And also you can find me on the Flash after show tonight, because we switched spots because it's the 3-part crossover at Elseworld. So I'll be on that starting in like another hour. So join me here at AfterBuzz.
If y'all want more Chauncey, y'all know where to go. Y'all already hit that subscribe button. I ain't got nothing to worry about. So it's going to be sent to y'all. It's your boy, Evan T. Mack. It's your boy, Evan T. Mack, all social media platforms. The Rogue God will return. Follow him at I Am Tehran. Speedy recovery. Shout out to your boy. See y'all next Sunday. Yeah. Happy holidays. You know.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.